Hello everyone, it's Helen here with Helen. Thanks for joining me. If you are watching this video today, maybe your doctor has ordered a gastric emptying study. Well, rest assured, this test is nothing to worry about. In fact, there's almost zero preparation for this test. So your doctor will have you go to the hospital. At least I've had to go to the hospital for mine. They will either order you a 2-hour study or a 4-hour study, just depending on what they're looking for and depending on where you live. Because here in the small city, when I had my first gastric emptying study, they only had the 2-hour one available. So that was the first one I had to get. And then later on, I had to get the 4-hour one a few different times. And I'll tell you the differences here in a minute. But you show up at the hospital, you go into a room and they present you with breakfast. So they give you some eggs, some toast, some jelly, some juice, and then they tell you, we need you to eat this in X amount of time. We'll be back. So they sprinkle a little something on those eggs though. It's like a little fluid, a little liquid, so that when they are taking the pictures, they are able to see how fast the food is going down the tummy tract, because they want to see like, okay, how long does it take for this liquid to empty out of the stomach and how long is it taking for these solids to empty out of the stomach? So that's why you're there and that's what they're looking for. So when you are done eating, they have you go into another room and they place you on a table, flat as a board, hard as a rock, and they have you lay there for 2 hours. See, I told you it wasn't too hard. You just get to lay there. You could take a nap. You could probably listen to some music. And then the tech is going to sit there and take pictures and watch how fast that fluid is going through the tummy and how fast that food is going through the tummy. And you're just laying there. Okay, well, if you are an acid reflux sufferer, you already know this is no bueno, because how often do you really eat a big meal and then you go lay flat on your back? Well, if you do that, then you're learning really quick that it doesn't do you well. You are going to get some major reflux from that and some major tummy issues from that. However, this wasn't super terrible. So I laid there, I did what I had to do, and that was it. Maybe minimal reflux that morning. So God must have been with me the whole time. And then what they do is after that, you are completely finished. Your surgeon will call you back in a week or two and let you know what your results are. And then there's a normal range and an abnormal range. There's nothing crazy here. There's some numbers that they're looking at. Okay, this is how long it took for the liquid to go down. This is how long it took for the solids to go down. You're either in the normal range or the abnormal range, and here's where you stand. And so for me, the liquid, I was just a little abnormal. It was a little delayed, but my solids were delayed. All right, so the doctor is looking for at this time, he's like, okay, does this person have gastroparesis? Does this person have GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease? And is it being caused because the food isn't emptying out of the stomach the way it should? For me, they were looking for both of those, but then they were also looking because I was about to have a major surgery called a Nissen fundoplication surgery for my acid reflux. Is this person a good candidate for this surgery? Because they're looking for all different types of things here. Well, unfortunately, the people in my little city right here, the surgeons, great surgeons, but they felt like it might not be the best idea for me to have that surgery, considering that I was dealing with some gastric emptying. And they thought, okay, if you go and have this particular surgery, it could potentially make it worse. So we're going to recommend that you do not get the surgery. Well, I was suffering from severe acid reflux. So guys, I always think it's super duper important to get a second, third, fourth opinion, whatever you have to do, because you're going to have to be your own advocate, because you are the only one who knows what you're going through and you're the only one who knows your body, right? And so respectfully, I was like, okay, I need to get a second opinion. So I did end up going into a bigger city and they ended up doing the study down there as well, the gastric emptying study, same procedure, eggs, toast, liquid. You had a certain amount of time to eat and drink. And then, but this one, you guys, which I feel like this particular test is a little more realistic for me, because again, like I said, how often do you eat a big meal and you just lay flat? Well, for me, this 4-hour one was a great fit, because what they have you do is they have you eat the meal, but then they give you 4 hours to move around. You get to sit up, you get to walk around, you could go to the gift shop, you could go anywhere you wanted. in the hospital. The only thing that you could not do was eat or drink for 4 hours. And they had you come in every hour and they would take a picture of your stomach just to see how things were going. That's all they had to do. And you got to be a little bit more interactive because you actually got to see the little bubbles and how things were digesting and how things were going down and the progress that it was making over a 4-hour span. So I liked that as well. And for me, it just seemed so good because it was like, okay, what do I normally do after I eat? Well, I'm going to sit, or maybe I'm going to read, or I'm going to take a walk, or I'm going to do something like that. So I'm actually going to be sitting upright. So I felt like it would give me a little more of an accurate description of what was going on in my stomach. Well, unfortunately, I was still dealing with some delayed emptying, regardless of whether I was laying flat or I was sitting up or I was walking around. But the doctors down there actually believed that it would be more beneficial for me to have the Nissen fundoplication, considering all the damage that the reflux was causing into the esophagus. And they thought, okay, yes, you may be looking at, a little bit of some long-term consequences. We're not 100% sure, but we still feel like this would be more beneficial for you to have this than to not have it. And so they were speaking my language because I felt it in my heart that I was supposed to have this surgery as well. So I'm so glad, again, that I was my own advocate, that I did my research. And, sometimes you just have to venture out. You just have to continuously look because you know yourself, you know your body, and you know what you need genuinely. I believe that. And so I did end up getting the Nissen fundoplication surgery. And you guys, I have such a great story to tell you about this. Okay, real quick. So if you are dealing with gastric emptying, delayed gastric emptying, there are a few different things that your doctor may want to do. They may want to start you on a medication. They may want to do a pyloroplasty. And if your doctor hasn't recommended a pyloroplasty, do some research because there are surgeons out there who do it. If you are suffering from severe gastroparesis, there are doctors who will do a pyloroplasty. It's a pretty severe procedure. However, it could be very, very beneficial for somebody who has severe gastroparesis. And it's really nice to know that there's hope out there. I chose not to do the medication. I don't absolutely love to do medication unless I absolutely have to. So I held off on that. And I also chose to not do the pyloroplasty, even though it was suggested to me. And I thought that I would get the Nissen fundoplication first and see how my body heals and get through that process before taking on another major surgery. And so that was my choice. And I'm so glad that I waited because I had the Nissen fundoplication. And they say a lot of the time that GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease, and then gastroparesis, they can kind of go hand in hand. And I had also had another major surgery, which was a full hysterectomy. And so there was a lot going on in this area that could have been causing some of that delayed emptying. Well, after I had my Nissen fundoplication, I had to go back a couple months later and they wanted to check how my stomach was emptying at this point in time. So I had the 4-hour study again. Well, lo and behold, thank you, God, my stomach was emptying in the normal range finally. So he was like, I don't know what's happened here, but you were very, very abnormal to the point where we were going to potentially do a pyloroplasty. And whatever we have done here with this surgery and your body is adjusted to where your stomach is emptying really, really well right now. And we're going to hold off on anything because you are in the normal range. So miracles do happen. And another thing to look into, because this was something that they had done in my stomach when they were doing the surgery, was they can insert Botox into your stomach. Now, I know that you're probably like, okay, this seems a little bit, much. Again, do your research. But there is Botox that they can put in there. Now, I don't know how often they can do that. He only did it for the surgery. He felt like it would be beneficial. Obviously, it did something. But I can say I had my surgery in 2015. Obviously, we are in 2022, and I am doing amazing since I've had my Nissen fundoplication. And you do have to alter your diet a little bit. If you are somebody who deals with delayed emptying, food is a huge, obviously, thing for you. You're going to need to be careful about what you're eating. I did get referred to a dietitian for a year who was able to kind of walk me through things that would sit in my stomach a little longer and things that are more easily digestible. So it was a life changer for me. One thing that he did say is if you're somebody who's dealing with delayed emptying, anything with a skin on it is not good for you. And when I say a skin, I am referring to anything like cucumber skin, corn, peas, anything that has a skin on it. And then he also said anything that has seeds. So you're probably thinking this is anything healthy, right, Helen? And yes, it could be the apple skins. It could be any type of a skin, because those type of things, they're full of fiber and yummy good things, but they want to sit in the stomach for a really long time. So we are talking about eating things that are going to go down the hatch nice and easy, things that sometimes are just blended, puddings, jello, anything that's going to want to go down nice and easy. A banana usually digests pretty good, but you have to be a little bit careful with that. I've noticed with cucumbers, as long as you cut around the edges, cucumbers are wonderful as long as I'm not eating the skin on the outside. So you definitely just have to find ways to improvise. I've done really good with like carrots, cooked carrots. Those are really good too. So you just have to do your research. And like I said, the dietitian was the best thing ever because he was able to walk me through everything and go through the things that would be beneficial for my body, my issues, and go from there. So maybe look into that as well. But hopefully this video helps somebody, and God bless. And I hope to hear from you in the comment section if you have any more questions. Bye.